I know it comes out on the 6th, but if you bought early access, you're going to have access a few days early. The thing is when Diablo 3 came out, I played it the first time with friends. It was just a group event, had a good time. I had never played Diablo before that. And I'm sure there's people going into this for Diablo 4 who have never played Diablo before ever. With Diablo 3, after my first experience, I knew I had to get the game. I bought it a few months later. My buddy and I played it for hours, played through the campaign together. And then we discovered rifts and all that stuff and started going through that. And I probably had 50 to 70 hours into the game before I realized there are builds you can make, especially tied to seasons, because you were going to be able to lock specific gear for that season, and it was just going to make the character better and allow you to play a better game. I had no idea. From that point on, I pick and chose which seasons I played, because I just didn't play the game constantly, but I still put 300 to 400 hours into Diablo 3. And then when Diablo 2 released on the Switch, I went back and played the remastered version of that also. And after playing the beta for Diablo 4, I realized you can't go into this blind. I mean, you can, but you're going to be so unoptimized, I don't know if it'll be a good time. So what you need to do is follow some sort of guide, or at least have a plan if you don't want to follow a guide. So for me, I'm a guide kind of guy. I'm going to follow the guide. And the website I used for Diablo 3 was this one. I used Icy Veins. ICY-Veins. VEINS. And what they've done so far, I think there's for sure a Necromancer one here. You go in here to their builds, and they have best Necromancer builds. They have one specifically just for leveling the character, and they've already created builds here for the Summoner Necromancer, the Blood Surge, the Bone Necromancer, and the Server Shadowmancer Necromancer. And if you're not following these guys, that's kind of what I realized when I was going through the most recent beta, the server test, as I played a druid, and by the time I got to level 20, I know 20 is very low for this game, but 20 that was the max during the server test. So I realized I was kind of picking abilities at random, and I was probably sub-optimized to go take on the world boss that capped you at level 20. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, it was fun. It was fun to go into this blind. But for the real thing, I want to make sure that I'm, not wasting 40, 50 hours of my life, because I'm not quite sure how the reclass in this game is going to work yet. I know there is going to be a system, because this isn't Diablo 3. You can't just go change your gear real quick and all of a sudden have a new build. You're allocating your upgrade points to skills, much like Diablo 2. So you have to have a plan of which skills you're going to be upgrading. If you didn't play the beta, you'll see it when you get in the game. So the guide here will break down, leveling Necromancer with Bone Spear and Corpse Explosion. Bone Spear Necromancer leveling build is high damage range build that brings high consistency to the battlefield, blah, blah, blah. And then so here's the clicks you can go to for the builds there. And it's going to tell you what you're going to do. So first one, level 1, you're getting Bone Splinters. Then enhanced Bone Splinters. Then Blood Surge, all up to level 5. Corpse Explosion, that's going to be your next upgrade, level 8. Enhance that. And then you're going to put Hued Flesh on there, up to level 3. Grim Harvest, and that gets you to 15. At this point, in your character progression is optimal to move all your points in Blood Surge over to Blood Spear. Both are located in the core cluster. This allows you to utilize Corpse Explosion. So at that point, everything in Blood Surge, so those levels you want to put into Blood Spears, what it says. Bone Spear. And then it's got all your level upgrades all the way through 58. At some point here, it's going to want you to reclass. And it tells you how to play the style here under the mechanics and play style. How you're going to do it. Describes the Book of the Dead ability. Gear choices. It basically runs you through how you're going to how you'd set it up. And then if you chose not to do the leveling guide, I think this one says you are able to level this build. However, we would strongly recommend a leveling guide for a smoother experience. You know what? I think this is what I'm going to do. I kind of want to build Necromancer first. I'm just going to straight up build it with this build. And this is what I will do for my character to start out. So when I start posting videos here, when I start doing videos of the game, I will break down as I'm leveling up. I'll keep coming back to this website, and hopefully it loads better next time, because I think there's pictures and stuff. There's supposed to be all sorts of stuff on here. It just didn't load. But I'll keep coming back, and I'll show you how I'm upgrading the character and building the skill tree out. And that goes into the Paragon board, and it's very, very in-depth. My point for this, though, is when the game comes out, you can have a great time playing it on your own with no plan. But if you want to get to the end game with a very efficiently